Hi everyone, this is a return to my 16-year-old Compaq Presario desktop computer. Now what I did is I got a dual core CPU for this socket, which is a 4400. Now when I popped it in the socket, I didn't check that it was fully inserted, so when I booted it up, it just refused to start. The CPU just whirred away. So I shut it down and took the CPU out, and I noticed one of the pins had actually bent. So what I had to do is, this is the CPU I took out just for demonstration purposes. Unlike Intel chips, the pins are on the CPU, while with Intel the pins are in the socket, so AMD put the pins on the CPU. So what I did is I got a magnifying glass and secured it so I could then get a very sharp blade and gently push the pin that was bent back into position. And then what I did is I inserted the CPU back into the socket, and it eventually, without me forcing it too much, it eventually snicked into place. Now to check that, I've got this cheap cheap mirror that's actually used for your teeth. So it's got a little light on it, and I found that really useful to move around the socket and just to make sure that the CPU was fully inserted in place. So what I'll do is I'll put the cooler back on, put some fresh thermal paste obviously on the chip first. I'll put the cooler back on, start this up and run some benchmarks, and hopefully we'll get a successful boot this time.